we recommend listening to the CW Pod with a glass of Steeple Ridge Bourbon. Grown, distilled, well-rested, and bottled in Erling, Iowa. Now from the Channel Seed Studios, this is the CW Pod, fueled by Steeple Ridge.
All right, here we go. One of my favorite weeks of the year. And one of my good old buddies, Mark Freund, who, God bless him, he just got out of TV. He has like a normal life now.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I know you're gonna be popping on with us and doing some stuff, but it's still like you had a hell of a run there at Channel 13. How are you? You doing okay?
I'm really good. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's the adjustment period has been odd going from TV to real world life, but it's been really kind to me so far, so it's been great.
Good. Well, I know you as a sports reporter, Mark, but also my pro wrestling buddy.
Yep.
Would like that. So you, just for the audience sake, and we are presented by our friends at Steeple Ridge, by the way. Go out and get yourself a bottle for WrestleMania. We got 2 nights.
I have to do that.
2 nights. If we were in studio, I'd just give you one, but I can't physically do that to you right now. But I owe you a bottle of Steeple Ridge. There you go.
I appreciate that. I will take it whenever you're ready.
Deal. Well, we'll have you in. Maybe a SummerSlam one. We'll come in and
love it.
Do a little preview. But no, Steeple Ridge, longtime sponsor of CW Pod here in Iowa, everywhere we love and appreciate them. I got a couple bottles. This is the 7-penny Deuce rum, sweet mash rye whiskey. Got those sitting there on my desk. All right, so Freund is what you would call more of a smart fan. What's the term, you guys?
Well, there's a couple of terms,
mark.
right?
You're a mark.
I'm a mark, yeah.
You literally are.
Or a smark, depending on who you ask.
Okay. And I used to be that fan. I still really love the industry and I pay a lot of attention to it. I'm just like, it's more of a time thing for me where I like to, when I'm exercising on my own, fast forward to the segments that are appealing to me.
Yeah.
I used to do like a lot of the wrestling podcasts and stuff. I really don't do any of those anymore. And again, it's just more of a time thing. Hopefully when my kids get a little older, I can get back more into it and stuff. But I really have been, Mark, intrigued the last couple of years, and I haven't ever stopped watching for what it's worth. Like I feel like the WWE in particular is as strong as it's been maybe in my adult life. I think it's easy to go back to like the Attitude Era and like the Monday Night Wars, and that's the low-hanging fruit. I'm sure there have been some pockets in there that I'm not thinking about where one of the like interesting storylines was when Punk, the pipe bomb era.
Right.
Like it felt like it was hot then, but I don't think it was doing the business that it is now. Just looking, like I was really into that. And you didn't know because they were like blurring reality with like, did he just walk out on the company with the title and all that stuff? Was that pipe bomb real?
Yep.
But now, it with the TV deal, with the Netflix thing, with the just overall star power, The Rock coming back, and again they're blurring reality with him being like on the board, and they finally turned Cena heel.
Finally,
like we've all wanted it for a decade.
Yes.
And they finally did it. And this is as locked in as I've been in for a long time. What about you?
It's been really fun. And kind of the heat that has risen over the last couple of years has obviously coincided with Paul Levesque, Triple H, taking over the lead booking role with WWE when Vince McMahon was kind of ousted from the picture. And that has been a huge plus to the product as a whole, because the way I always put it is there are fewer wrestling tropes and more reality.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Ingrained in every storyline. And you still get some of the wrestling tropes and some of the things that we love about wrestling where you kind of have to suspend that disbelief. But there's more reality involved in these storylines than there has been in years. And it's just been great to see that creativity come to the forefront with Triple H, as opposed to some of the trite stuff we were getting for so long with Vince.
That's a really good way to put it, especially after the Attitude Era. And how old are you?
33.
Okay, so do you remember that?
I do. I wasn't watching it as much when I was a kid, but
Okay.
having gone back and reviewed that period of time, I'm very familiar with it.
So I'm 40, and I kind of in my lifetime went from, like first era Undertaker, which was like a literal dead man, like
Right.
pulling people into a casket. It was like Doink the Clown.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember Iron Sheik, but it wasn't too much back to NWO, Degeneration X, where it's just like these dudes that you would want to hang out with.
Yeah.
And that was their characters. And then all of a sudden we go back, and it was like, I remember the first time. Do you remember the tag? They may even still be around. I had my daughter at Wells Fargo, and it was the Viking Raiders.
Yes, they're now the War Raiders.
Oh, okay. I did. I saw
they
that.
reverted their name back to what it originally was. Yes.
Well, when I saw them come out, I'm like, that doesn't work now.
Right.
Like, I don't believe these guys just got off this Viking ship, and because like our brains are just trained, like as far as pro wrestling fans. And I look at all these guys in these main events coming up, and it's like Cena heel turn, like this. We're seeing layers of him now.
Mm-hmm.
The Cody Rhodes character has never been better because he left. He creates his company, comes back. He's like this disruptor, all-American guy.
Yep.
Punk has always just kind of been himself, turned up. Rollins, I feel, is the same way. And Reigns is like got this whole aura around him with his family and all that. Like, it's all just real people who are just amped up, and it reminds me of a little bit of like Shawn Michaels, Triple H, the glory days.
The best part about all these characters that you're kind of talking about is that the gimmicks are just now more subtle. They're still there, and there's still elements of, okay, you do have to suspend some of that disbelief, right? Like we don't think that Roman Reigns is walking around family reunions claiming to be the tribal chief and all must, obey and bow down to him.
Be pretty sweet.
But it's the subtlety of the character, and that he leads the family and he sits at the head of the table and all that stuff that kind of makes these characters, again, kind of what I was talking about. They blend the reality a little bit more into it so that it is more believable and more entertaining.
Yeah. And then even the other main event, it's like you got a guy in Jey Uso who we've basically watched since he was just this. They weren't ever. They were always like one of the top tag teams, but you never thought of them as like main eventers or anything. And then this Gunther, who I just love, like he's
great.
Yeah, he's like Vince McMahon would have made him like a communist, like he's foreign, we have to hate him.
Yep.
But they've done such a good job with he's got an accent, but he's just this European dude who is just a badass who you just don't like. Like, he's a great character.
The genesis of his character was the mat is sacred. They treated wrestling as a real sport with, real stakes. And again, it's that blending of reality. And so his character has evolved. And there is a little bit of he leans into the foreign nature of his character, but in a way that's like tasteful. And not just like obviously anti-American.
Do you remember the Rusev Lana, like when they would go out and do like a Pledge of Allegiance to Vladimir Putin? Like, just that wasn't that long ago.
It was not. It was not. Like within the last 6-7 years.
Yeah,
maybe even less.
It's changed a lot. No, okay. The Cena thing.
Yeah.
So. We've all kind of like just been waiting on it. And then I don't know about you, but I kind of just assumed it wasn't ever going to happen. Because it just felt like he's just beyond this now. And why would you make him a bad guy? He still sells all this merchandise. And they just freaking did it, man. Like, and they did it really well. Where do you think this goes? Because like he's committed to other dates, right? Like, because my first thought, Mark, was that he's going to lose, and because it's just Cody Rhodes, and usually they do at WrestleMania, they want everybody to leave happy.
Yeah.
But it kind of feels like, what's the point in turning Cena into a bad guy for this run if he's just going to be this bad guy walking around without a belt? I don't know. What do you think?
So he is one world title away from breaking the record, breaking Ric Flair's world championship record. And obviously they bring him back, and the immediate question is he going to break Flair's record? And the way that they have kind of built this storyline, it makes me think that Cena will win on Sunday. The hard part with Cena has been the believability of the heel character, right? And that's why, as you referenced before, we couldn't see him turning heel, because John Cena, his essence as a character is that he has always been a little bit corny, and he is kind of a cheese ball. And when you watch him wrestle, his motions and the way that he sells things are very pro wrestling. They're not like, they don't always look as real. And so it's all, and he's the Make-A-Wish guy, right? And so it's always been hard to see him in that heel character. And there has been some growing pains with him. When you listen to some of these promos, sometimes I'm like, I'm not sure. Like, do I believe in this guy as a heel? But, and initially when he turned, I thought there's no way he wins at WrestleMania, because they're not going to have him break the record as a heel. But they went all the way in anyway. Why not just do it? And then you can always turn him back in a couple of months and re-celebrate it all over again.
Doesn't it feel like at the end, it's kind of like Rock Hogan WrestleMania, where Hogan's been this bad guy for a while, and then all of a sudden it's kind of like, as he walks off, everybody's just cheering him.
Well,
like, doesn't it feel like that happens at SummerSlam or something like that?
Yeah. We're talking a couple of months down the road where he's going to
raise hell for a while.
Yep. But this is what I want. I don't want him to win and then immediately go back to like good guy Cena in like 3 weeks. We need some run time with this heel character. And if he's got the belt, it makes it so much more interesting. And the other thing too about all this, right, is that Cody Rhodes, his championship reign has been just okay. He is much, much better as a chaser, as most baby faces are. Yeah. He's much better as a chaser than he is as a champion. And I would like to see that chase as he's, attempting to chase the GOAT, and not just the GOAT by fan sentiment, by actual accomplishment. I think that would be really compelling.
Yeah, and I think you could do a lot of cool matches too. If Cena, like heel Cena's the champ, it's like you could do the Punk thing one more time.
Yep.
You could, the sky's the limit of these different like run it back matches. Like you could give Orton Cena one more run. Like
iconic that would rivalry. Yep.
Yeah, like we're going back 15 years and just plucking guys up and they're like, you've changed, John, and like, and he's squashing them all. Like I think it could be really entertaining.
I think that's what the idea behind when Cena came back, that was one of the things that everyone talked about, is like, oh, he hasn't been around in so long. Look at all these dream matches, retirement matches that he can have with some of the, not just the Punks and the Ortons of the world, but some of the guys that are, he's never faced before. And so I would like to get that. We haven't gotten that because he's been so limited on dates. And then when you turn him heel, he gets thrust into this storyline with Cody Rhodes. And that has to be the focus of the attention, right? I would like to get to your point at some point down the road, a run of a couple of months where we just get, I want to see him face Gunther. I want to see him face Jey Uso. I want to see him face Orton and Punk again, and just close those stories that have been running for years.
One of my favorite Cena memories is the U.S. Open Championship, where like he'd go out and then somebody would just open challenge him.
Yep, open challenge. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know why that just came to my mind. I even bought the T-shirt.
He wouldn't do that with the world title.
No, he wouldn't. But that was really cool, though.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, and you just, those are always great as running storylines because sometimes you never know who it might be, and that could be really fun with Cena. Again, guys he's never faced before. He's been gone for long enough that the roster has kind of turned over, and we've got kind of the NXT guys are now at that main level. It'd be fun to see Cena go up against all these dudes.
Yeah. We are in the Channel Seed Studios. Diehard wrestling fan Mark Freund joins me. It's WrestleMania week. The other main event is, I actually think, equally as compelling, and there's no belt involved, which is odd.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't want to give our guy Jey Uso and Gunther. Are there 3 main events? What are we calling this?
So
how does that even work?
My guess is that Gunther and Jey will open night 1 because that's already booked for Saturday. So my guess is that they'll open night 1. You can't call it. He's earned the main event, right, as the Royal Rumble winner, Jey has, but it won't actually be a main event spot. They're not going to put that second to last and then have Punk, Roman, and Rollins go out there. I suspect they'll open the show on Saturday.
The Punk Rollins thing with Roman Reigns has Paul Heyman involved, which makes everything better when Paul Heyman's involved. Do you have a way you want to see this go? I kind of feel like Punk might walk away winning this one.
This has been weird because to your point, there is nothing actually on the line. I thought they might put a number 1 contendership at stake just because it's the main event of night 1 and it's kind of just a match. And I don't know that like having Paul Heyman be the through line here gives it enough stakes.
Yeah, it's like the winner gets Heyman. Like
that's not a stipulation though. So it's been a little bit strange. I think I don't have a great read on who actually wins it.
Do they turn on Punk? Is Heyman and we take Roman back heel?
I don't think so because we haven't really gotten to the Roman face character yet. Roman Reigns has not changed. He's still kind of mean to his family. He's never apologized for anything that he did.
He still makes people call him the tribal chief.
He still makes people acknowledge him. And that can all be great babyface theater, but we've never actually gotten his babyface story. So that's why I don't think we're going back to heel Roman this soon. I don't know where this turns, but Seth Rollins has been the best part of this feud. If you've been watching the promo battles and the way that he has kind of manipulated and played the mind games with the other 2 guys, I think Punk deserves it, right? Because the story here is he has waited his entire career to main event WrestleMania. And that's been one of the main story beats. So your head says, okay, he should probably win the match. But one of the best things about wrestling, as you know, Chris, is that when you think you know something, everything gets flipped on its head. And that's what I think. And that's why I feel like I can't really call a winner here because I truly don't know. I don't have a great read on it.
Where does The Rock come into play? I guess he's called the final boss now, but he's been eerily quiet ever since the Cena heel turn. Because you kind of thought like, oh, he's going to be this big part of it. I was like, is Rock like going to walk Cena out to the ring next? Right. Or I didn't know where that was going to go. And we just haven't even heard from him. That's
the part. And I say this as a fan comparing this year and last year. I feel like the WrestleMania build as a whole has been a little bit lacking this year because of what you just said. We had this huge moment, this viral moment that literally the whole world gravitated towards with the Cena heel turn, and we haven't seen The Rock since. And when you compare it directly apples to last year's build, you had The Rock and Cody doing promo battles each week. You had them attacking each other and bloodying each other. You're not getting any of that this year. And there's been very little physicality between Cody and Cena to this point. So I would imagine Rock will be at SmackDown on Friday for the go home segment, and he'll be involved at WrestleMania in some way. It's just, what are we going to get? Because I think the fans have been waiting for so long. He was the catalyst for all this, and yet we haven't heard from him.
Does he screw Cody? Like, do they let Cena win his 17th belt unclean?
Oh man. Wouldn't that be great? You just go.
I mean,
all
if
the
you
way
want
in
him
on
to
the
like
heel.
go all heel here, like Cody's he's the most popular guy since Cena. I don't know.
Yeah,
If Rock's going to get
maybe.
involved, like, doesn't it make the most sense that it's there?
Yeah, I mean, I have no doubt that he'll be involved in some way. I just don't know if he will actually get physically involved in the match. I guess he kind of has to, right? We'll see. I don't. It's another question I don't have a great answer on because he hasn't done anything yet. He's given us no indication as to what his role is in this story outside of the throat slashing guy who made the call to finally, turn Cena to the dark side.
Yeah. I thought last year's when they did that press conference thing, or was it in Vegas? Do you know what I'm talking about? Where they had like the special WrestleMania press conference and
the kickoff. Yep.
That was one of the best things I think WWE's ever done.
It was the
God.
best storytelling device to kickstart the Cody Rock thing into high gear and the Cody Roman thing into high gear.
I thought that so recently it was that and then the Sami Zayn deal at the Rumble.
Yes, where he
like the last
finally turned on Roman.
Yeah. Like the last 30 minutes of that pay-per-view were maybe two of the best pieces that WWE I think has ever done.
Yeah.
In my mind. And I've been watching this shit for a long time.
Right.
I thought that Royal Rumble, to me, probably is the greatest thing I've ever seen in pro wrestling. And
wow.
From a storytelling, I was so locked into that. I knew how it was going to end, but the build-up was perfect.
Yep.
Sammy was such a perfect character in that spot. I thought I was goosebumps.
Yeah. It was
at the end of that.
The way they shot it and they were off mic for all the interactions and the storytelling elements. And you're right, Sammy was kind of the perfect foil. And then some of the callbacks they did to, when Sammy turns and swings the chair into Roman's back, that was the ultimate callback to the Shield breaking up back in the day.
It was great.
It was so good. But yeah, God, The Rock, I just...
There's got to be something we're not talking about. That's the thing. Otherwise...
I know. And I wish I had a more fleshed out idea, but he hasn't been around. So it's in kayfabe, where is this guy's head at character wise? What is he going to do? I don't think it's a matter of who he's going to side with because he's made his bed right with Cena. But you have a 2-man potential Hollywood power trip right there for you. Take it and run with it. I want to see what that looks like.
So you said in kayfabe, and that got me thinking. I mean, it feels like forever ago, but The Rock, he wanted his soul.
Yeah,
he wanted Cody's soul, and he didn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
It in my mind, that's strong language. There's got to be hell to pay for not giving him your soul, and it can't just be John Cena is going to beat you up and turn on you and say some mean things in Europe for a couple of weeks on Raw. There's got to be more to it.
And that's why I would love it if this ultimately ended in a title change, because Cody's soul essentially, or at least part of it, has been winning the title that his father, who is his closest person in the world, never
I see
won.
Where you're going here.
He never won it. Cody finally won that title. It was the culmination of his career, but a year-plus long storyline at WrestleMania 40. His late dad never won this title. He finally gets it. So in essence, the babyface thing to say, right, is that your soul is with the fans. And that is what Cody has said. My soul is with them. And that's what he said when he initially turned The Rock down. But from a career standpoint, Cody's soul is that championship. And so what better way for The Rock to cost Cody his soul than to find a way to have Cena walk away from WrestleMania with that championship?
I hadn't thought about it like that. That's good. The belt is his soul.
We're booking the territory, man.
Yeah. Look at this. All right, what else am I missing? Because Tiffany and Charlotte Flair, that's been kind of compelling. A little bit of reality mixed in with that.
Well,
kind of nasty towards each other.
They went off script.
Yeah.
They went off script.
So that was, I mean, I don't know the dirt sheets and stuff. Was that not planned?
That was not planned.
Because it got nasty. It
did. So it goes back to the face-to-face interview they had the week prior where Charlotte just would not let Tiffany speak. And then...
Was she trying to squash her?
That's what Charlotte does.
Yeah.
Her ego.
Yeah.
She wants to test these young talent, but a lot of the times it comes off as burying them.
Yeah.
Because she in this instance, she didn't allow it to be a two-sided thing. It was a one-sided deal. And so Tiffany got hers back the next week. And if you watch that promo battle over, you'll see Tiffany drops the line about Charlotte being 0-3 in her marriages. And then she immediately slides out of the ring. That's a heel thing to do. But Tiffany did it because she didn't want it to escalate any further. And you could see that Charlotte was pissed.
And the Nepo thing.
Yes. So that's compelling. It'll be a good match. I can't with Charlotte Flair.
You're not a fan?
No. I don't like the way that she's just not very professional. And I would like to see Tiffy retain.
Who's your favorite female wrestler these days?
Oof. I really like Rhea Ripley, like everybody does. But Liv Morgan,
she'd be mine too,
is working out of her mind right now.
She
has had a great year.
She's coming on the show.
No.
Yeah, leading up to SmackDown here in Des Moines.
That is tremendous.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear that conversation.
We got it booked yesterday. It's in like 2 weeks. Family lined it up.
Let's go. That's going to be awesome.
She's one of my favorites in like 10, 15 years. Like she just her characters it doesn't matter what storyline they have her in. She's just, there's that charisma that draws you to her.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's really come into her own in the last couple of years. I think that women's triple threat is going to be really good. The match has been great. The storyline has been meh, but we're talking Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Io Sky. Arguably the three best workers, three of maybe the five best workers in the company right now on the women's side. That match could bang, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that would be the one that I had circled too. That again, Mark, like as fans, we just want that reality line blurred a little bit. And once I saw that, like I saw it on Twitter, I think, where she did the marriage line, and I was like, oh, holy crap, I got to go back and watch that. And now I went back and watched all the promos and stuff. I'm like, this is great. I'm into this one.
Yeah, Charlotte Tiffy's going to be fun. That triple threat's going to be fun. They got their women's division is in a really strong place right now, and then presumably you'll bring Becky Lynch back after WrestleMania, and she adds.
Is she coming back for sure? She can't go to AEW.
No, she'll be back.
Because that was kind of the rumor for a while that her and Seth would both go, or they would get a contract. But AEW, like, feels really, really dead to me.
They have had some struggles lately. Their booking has been rough. Their creative has. I
was
been
a big fan too. Like I wasn't ever like a hater of that stuff. Like
and if you just like great wrestling, that's your promotion, because they go out there and they put on bangers, and they have legitimately some of the best wrestlers in the world. Will Ospreay's incredible. Swerve Strickland, who I know you spoke to.
Oh yeah,
offered him the tee shots.
What a stupid thing! He's what a douchey, what a horrible.
I can't believe you offered to be his valet. Essentially, you're like, yeah, I'll come to the ring with you. That's cool. And he's like,
and he shot me down, man.
Like, nah, I'm good.
You take your shot, right? Shoot your shot.
But yeah, if you want just like pure great wrestling, and you're telling me that you watch AEW for that, for sure, I'm all in. Love the quality of the matches that they book. The storylines and the creative is where they kind of lose me sometimes.
The problem too that I have is the crowds seemed so much better early in AEW, almost like when they were just in Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm. Daly's place.
Right. It was just lit all the time.
Yeah.
And now, like when they came to Des Moines, the people who were there were great.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like half an arena. And I don't know, like to me, like, and we just saw this with this WWE run in Europe, how much the crowd can just impact everything.
Yeah. I think what AEW should lean into, in my opinion, is the unique settings in which they book shows, right? Like Daly's Place is kind of the model for that, but they have been doing some shows lately in like concert halls, smaller venues that are more vertical. The arena setting is not always a great look for them. Like they need a differentiator, and I think the differentiator that I've noticed that they do best is the different aesthetics as far as like the settings for these wrestling shows. They've had some really interesting ones in the last couple of years, but like Daly's Place, like you were referencing, is always the gold standard as far as their home base and everything is concerned.
Yeah, and I thought that they really thrived during COVID.
They did.
Like, that was when I was more into AEW than I was WWE, and you could tell because WWE is used to the big, everything is just massive and a show. And you couldn't really do that. And I was really drawn to AEW at that time.
And remember, during the pandemic was really some of the worst years of booking for WWE. The creative was in a really bad place. And so AEW was offering this alternative where, you know, you could have your banger matches that maybe WWE wasn't really putting on. And now this is why I think it's gotten a little less popular, AEW, because the booking and the creative has stepped back up under Triple H at WWE, that you have a lot of those casual fans that have kind of migrated back to the WWE side. And so I think that's reflecting in like some of AEW's gate and ratings, all those kind of those tangible things that we track.
Well, Mark, this was fun. We could probably do this for way too long, but you got to get back to your day job, and I need to study up. But I am fired up. This is a wrestling fan in general, and I'm also a big UFC fan. I love the TKO thing. I think that they're just kind of scratching the surface right there. And in my opinion, the combat sports and sports entertainment's got a whole other leg to it that we're going to kind of see evolve here over the next few years. So thank you for bringing your passion to the show. Did we miss anything else? Did I miss anything?
Nothing like super notable. The one thing that we didn't really talk about was the Intercontinental Championship match, a little fatal four-way there between Braun Breaker, Penta, and the two Judgment Day guys.
Now, Braun Breaker is Rick Steiner's kid, right?
Yeah. So, yeah.
God, he looks just like his Uncle Scott. That's what he looks like.
It's
Big Papa Pump, baby. That was my guy back in the day.
Best spear in the business, man, right now.
One of the great promos was late NWO Big Papa Pump when nobody was watching WCW. They kind of just let him go out there and say whatever. It was horrible, but that guy was just rolling back in those days.
Are you talking about the 33 1/3 promo where he does all the math?
Probably. They were horrible, but they were wildly entertaining.
Man.
He would have like all these like women in the ring with him and call him his hoochies.
Oh God.
Do you remember that?
A bygone era now.
Yeah. Oh, stuff
for good reason.
Get you run out of town. But
well, that's the other interesting thing we could do an entire podcast on is kind of the cultural changes and what has held up in the wrestling space, what does not hold up in the wrestling space in 2025. Dude, that's an interesting topic to explore. Just
the women's wrestling in general is that they could have made that whole McMahon thing about female wrestling and how that's changed in 20 years.
Yeah.
Like you could fill 10 episodes on that.
They gave them a chance, and now look, they're like some of the best WrestleMania matches we've gotten in the last couple of years have been the women's matches.
That, and they were just so, not only did they give them a chance, but they were so horrible to them.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
I mean,
have a buddy of mine.
the gimmick matches, right?
Oh,
The ones
God.
we know.
Not even that, but it's like valets and just stuff that they would like.
Mhm.
Oh man, it was bad. But anyway, what we all, and I was guilty of it. It was just part of our culture back then, and times have changed. But I would sit there and 14-year-old boy, Sable, show us your puppies, or like
Right.
whatever it was. Like that was just part of the thing, and it is cool to see how far it's come. And now they're not only, and then it was like, oh, there's going to be like 2 women's matches, and that's when everybody goes to the bathroom.
Right. Popcorn matches, they used to call them.
Yep. And then now it's like they're like a real part of the show. They're main eventing.
You had a women's match main event WrestleMania not that long ago.
Well, there's often times where that's the most interesting match on the card to me, especially when Lynch is out there. I think she may be my favorite. You should read her book, by the way, if you haven't. It's fantastic.
I own it. I haven't read it yet, but I own it.
It's really, really good.
If they had done the storyline well, Io, Bianca, and Rhea Ripley absolutely could have main evented.
I thought the one last year with Bailey in the Damage Control was really well done. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, that storyline was great too. Real quick, do you want to predict the 4 world title matches?
Let's do it.
Go with them. All right.
go.
So give me your Cena Cody winner.
Cena.
I'm gonna go Cena too.
Cena wins the belt. Yep.
And breaks the record, and then hopefully we get the Summer of Cena like we had the Summer of Punk.
And then he'll lose it at SummerSlam or Survivor Series or something, and it'll be the turn back.
And they'll turn him back, and then he'll ride off into the sunset as a babyface. Okay. World title match, Gunther, Jay.
They got to go Jay. If they're going to go the unpopular one with the big, they got to go Jay. It's his time. And plus, I think it actually builds Gunther up to lose the belt, and then maybe he can make a run. He's getting a lot of crowd interaction, by the way. Have you noticed that?
Well, did you see what he did to Jimmy Uso a couple of weeks ago?
Yes.
He's earned it. He's earned that heat.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going Gunther too. Or I'm sorry, I'm going Jey Uso too.
Okay.
You have to strap up Jay. You don't have him win the Rumble, and I get it. Like the yeet thing will lose its steam.
I'm already tired of it, but
yeah, and he's not a great in-ring wrestler. But you gotta strike while the iron's hot, and,
no doubt.
And you don't have him win the Rumble if you're not going to put the belt on him. The one thing I hate for Gunther is that he loses the Intercontinental Championship and he loses potentially the World Championship in back-to-back WrestleManias. But Gunther's way too good for that.
We could build it up though, and that's the thing. Next year, it's just like, man, this guy can't get over the hump of Mania. Maybe he's a babyface at that point, because the crowd, like they're going to start cheering him at some point. Like it's going to start happening. Like,
He's one of the best things they got going right now.
Couldn't agree more.
Triple threat: Io, Rhea, Bianca.
I mean, I feel like Rhea. I don't want to see Bianca win. I'll go Rhea. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know this one as well. I haven't thought down the road enough. Is Bianca gonna be a heel?
She's kind of a tweener right now.
Right.
She's doing the whole, like, everything I say is right. I'm speaking truths here.
Doesn't it feel like that might be a thing? Maybe she cheats?
Well, the Bianca heel turn is another one that fans have kind of been hoping for because she has kind of been the Cena of the women's division.
Yeah, and I'm over it. Like, I don't need to see it anymore. Like,
yeah, so I'm, you know what? Just for the sake of going a different way here, I'll go Bianca.
Okay.
I think give her the title, maybe turn her heel.
You gonna turn her heel?
Lean into it, yeah. And then finally, Tiffany Stratton, Charlotte Flair. Who you got?
They'll probably I would like to see them have Tiffany win it. Like, let's just keep building up new stars. But my guess is that they'll let Charlotte win it.
I hate that I agree, but I agree.
Yeah.
Triple H has an affinity for the Flair family. They're like his heroes. So, and he's booked Charlotte like this for so long that I've got a bad feeling she's going to walk out of it with the women's championship.
Yeah, it certainly feels that way.
Yeah, it does. All right. Well, that was a fun exercise.
Yeah.
It'll be a fun 2 days, man.
Who do you have in the triple threat?
Punk, Roman Cena, or Punk, Roman, Rollins. Oh man.
I think they do Punk.
I'll go Punk. Because he's waited for it. Give him the moment.
And I just think it makes the most sense too.
Yeah.
And then maybe you could do the Punk Cena thing.
Well, and you can come out of it with a storyline, right? Because Heyman is going to be involved in some way or another.
Well, and then it sets up Rollins and Reigns,
which has to happen. We have to get to that at some point.
Yeah, and maybe we build that up for SummerSlam.
Yep, for sure. I like where your head's at. Again, we're booking it, man.
Yes.
Give us the pen.
No offense to everyone here at Iowa Everywhere and Cyclone Fanatic, but I would leave doing all this to go and do bookings with Freund.
Could you imagine the territory we could book, the shows we could put together?
The other wrestling book, The Rock's guy. I have it over there, but I don't
Brian Gewirtz.
Yeah, have you read that?
No, I've heard it's wild though.
Dude, laugh out loud funny.
Yeah. Okay.
Like to the point where my wife is like, "What are you reading?" Because I'm over and just dying in bed. Laugh out loud funny.
All right, I'll get that from you when you get me the old Steeple Ridge. How about that?
Appreciate you, brother.
Boom. Thanks,
Mark
man.
Freund. I hope you enjoyed his wrestling takes. We'll have him back another time to do this again. I hope you guys enjoy it. Go buy yourselves a bottle of Steeple Ridge Bourbon. And enjoy WrestleMania. Later.